Multiple people are dead after a van plows through a crowd of people in Germany. What police know about the driver of the van. Plus, students are not letting the discussion of gun control land on the back burner. How they are calling members of Congress to hear them speak out.
And heavy rain and gusty winds causing issues throughout our region. I'll have all the details coming up in your full Weather Authority forecast. News 4 at 5 starts right now.
This is News 4 at 5 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Ben Margiott. Heavy rain has been causing some serious issues around the area over the past few days. Now we're contending with some pretty gusty winds. Weather Authority meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer is in tonight. And Jacqueline, when are those winds going to start to calm down?
Ben, it'll still be a little while longer. We're seeing very breezy conditions right now with the sustained winds even staying pretty high as of this hour. Here's a look at those winds right now. We're seeing 22 miles per hour in Reno, 20 miles per hour instead, 16 in Galena. And again, these are sustained winds, so those gusts are up to 55 miles per hour right now. Very gusty day, not letting up anytime soon. We do have a few alerts in effect. That tan is a wind advisory, but that gold is a high wind warning. That's that escalated version. But throughout the region, those winds staying very gusty until about 11 p.m. We are tracking just a few more showers in the region. You can see them right here. A few snow pellets really over those Sierra passes. Doesn't look like we'll be seeing any travel impacts with those, but we are still tracking those rivers because we're still seeing some flooding concerns right now. Truckee River and Reno at action stage, but in Truckee at minor flood stage. I'll let you know how much more they'll rise coming up in your full Weather Authority forecast.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. Maintenance crews in Truckee were prepared for severe flooding from the Truckee River, but as News 4's Ryan Curry reports, the flooding not nearly as bad as was anticipated.
As you can see behind me, the current in the Truckee River is moving a lot faster, and the water level is a lot higher than it normally is. Now, Public Works crews told me they feared the water level would get so high that it may cause some severe flooding in the Truckee area. However, I spoke with Public Works from Truckee earlier, and they told me they had crews on call during the storm in case any roadside or flooding issues came up. I also called the Truckee Fire Department earlier to see if there were any emergencies regarding flooding, and they told me they didn't even send out any alerts or calls regarding flooding in the Truckee area. They responded to one call, and they said it was a minor incident. I drove over to Boomtown as well to see if residents had any issues with flooding. One resident told me this storm did not cause any severe flooding for homes in Boomtown. He said any high water receded very quickly after the storm.
There's usually a ton of water, but always it comes off the side of this hillside right here, down through this channel right here, over across the road several different times a year. This rainstorm had a lot initially, but it went away pretty quick, whereas the ones that come for a longer amount of time are usually a lot more.
Verdon told me he and a few of his neighbors normally get sandbags for big storms. However, he told me he did not think it was necessary to get a sandbag for the storm this past weekend. Reporting off of Interstate 80 near the Truckee River, I'm Ryan Curry, News 4.
A man is behind bars tonight after running from police and crashing a vehicle near downtown Reno yesterday. Reno police say the man you see here, 37-year-old Richard Ryan Thomas, was driving a stolen car Friday afternoon when officers tried to pull him over. Thomas continued driving and nearly hit a police officer in a patrol car. He then crashed into another vehicle in an alley and tried to run away on foot before police arrested him. The person he hit was not hurt. Thomas was taken to the hospital for an evaluation, and once released, he was booked into the Washoe County Jail, where he remains tonight. And fire crews are on the scene of a fire at Trump Tower in New York City. Here's a live look at the scene. The fire started just before 6 o'clock Eastern time today. On the 50th floor, President Trump tweeted saying the fire has been put out. There are no reports of injuries at this time, and the cause of the fire is unknown. Following last month's March for Our Lives, a student group pushing for stricter gun control laws is trying to keep the conversation about guns in the forefront. The group hosted more than 100 town hall meetings across the country today, and they invited members of Congress to attend with mixed results. NBC's Chris Pallone reports.
Gun violence. Because we need to change the policy in Washington.
It was called Town Hall for Our Lives. The student group pushing for stricter gun laws after the Parkland, Florida school massacre, trying to keep momentum for their movement going. They invited members of Congress to participate in community forums across the country. And if those elected officials didn't show up, they invited candidates who were trying to defeat them.
Tom
town hall isn't a new concept, but in the wake of all the recent tragedies and all of the events that have been going on, it's something so important. And as a student, I felt really touched by their speeches and by seeing all of this going on.
More Democrats than Republicans showed up to the town halls.
These kids should not have to stage walkouts from their classes or marches in state and national capitals to make sure that they can be safe when they go to school.
But Fred Gutenberg, whose daughter Jamie died in the Parkland massacre, says putting an end to school shootings should be a top priority on both sides of the aisle.
Bottom line, this is not partisan for me. This is life or death.
Parkland created a new generation of political activists who say their voices will be heard at the ballot box.
They have to realize that we are the generation that's coming forth, and we will be voting in the midterm elections.
Parkland was a tragedy that launched a movement, its political impact yet to be determined. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
Thousands braved the cold today to honor those who have served our country. Gainesville, Florida hosted its 17th annual Medal of Honor parade this morning. This is the only city in the country that has a Medal of Honor program. The parade brought out many in uniform as well as families, all to salute and honor 17 medal recipients who served in Vietnam, Korea, and as early as World War II.
I looked down the street as I was a driver today. It was overwhelming to my heart to see people still come out and want to support these heroes and support what we do all year long.
The parade was followed by a book signing and meet and greet with all of the honorees. The Medal of Honor is the country's highest military honor and is awarded for personal acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty. Police say 15 people are dead after a crash between a tractor trailer and a bus carrying a junior league hockey team in Western Canada. The crash happened as members of the Humboldt Broncos were headed to a playoff game in Saskatchewan. 14 others were injured in this crash and taken to a hospital. Canadian police said 3 of them were in critical condition.
The investigation is ongoing. The Saskatchewan RCMP have deployed significant resources to the scene to assist with the tragic incident.
Authorities say a total of 28 people were on the bus at the time of the crash. Authorities have not identified the victims and would not confirm whether they were players or coaches. 3 people are dead and more than 30 injured after a man drove a van into a crowd of people today in Germany. Police say the driver is among the dead after shooting himself. Law enforcement officials say there's no evidence at this time that it was an act of terror. NBC's Tammy Leitner reports from London.
According to sources within the investigative unit of NBC News' German partner ZDF, the suspect has been identified as Jens R., a German-born citizen. Now, we still don't have a motive on why he did this, but we do know now he took his own life. Police do believe that person was driving the vehicle, and we're told they are not looking for anyone else believed to be involved. But they are interviewing people at the scene. As you know, this can be a painstaking, slow process. So let's go through what happened. The attack happened at 3:27 p.m. local time in Munster, Germany. Police are calling it an attack, but are not saying it was a terror attack. The suspect drove a vehicle into a crowded area of town. There were a number of people outside. This was one of the first nice days, so people were sitting outside at outdoor cafes enjoying the warm weather when this happened.
I heard a loud bang, screaming, and then the police arrived and everyone was sent outside.
Police have closed down the area. No one is being allowed in or out. Investigators are trying right now to establish a motive, interviewing witnesses while things are fresh in people's mind. Anyone who might have seen something that could help piece together a timeline. And because of the number of people who were injured and are being treated at hospitals, at least one hospital in Munster is asking for blood donations. Reporting from London, Tammy Leitner, NBC News.
A prominent Russian human rights lawyer says he's sure the Russian government has collected information on the U.S. president. Ivan Pavlov says he's representing at least 3 individuals in connection with the Steele dossier who were arrested in December 2016 and accused of treason. The dossier claimed that Russia had collected compromising information on Donald Trump that could be used to influence the incoming president.
I'm not sure what they have, but pretty sure they have a lot about his visit. Each step was under watch.
It also contained allegations of Russian hacking and interference in the presidential election. Mr. Trump has denied the allegations in the dossier. Pavlov says his clients are just part of a state crackdown on perceived opponents in Russia. And happening tomorrow, if you missed out on the first day of the Reno Cannabis Convention, you still have a chance to attend this weekend. The industry trade show highlights the emerging local cannabis community here in the biggest little city. The event showcases the industry's expansion through advocacy and education. You can purchase a one-day pass for tomorrow's event. It starts at 11 a.m. and goes until 4:30, and the convention being held at Whitney Peak Hotel. And coming up in sports, it's the first weekend of the year with Wolfpack baseball and Aces both in action. Brenna Green has you covered on all of our local teams right ahead.
Here's a look at those showers still over those Sierra passes. Again, not expecting any travel delays, but I'll let you know when the next storm's on the way in your full weather authority forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This week on Full Measure, the foreign connection. Our investigation found out how foreign agents are spinning our news, influencing our laws, and directing our tax dollars. Plus, rising tensions as Israel marks 70 years of independence. Meantime, the U.S. rushes to move our embassy to Jerusalem. Does that hurt or help peace prospects? We report from Israel. And they may be the brands you know and love, but we're unmasking the darker side of some of America's biggest and most admired companies. Those stories and more this week on Full Measure.
Welcome back. Well, after some drenching rain last night, we are starting to see those showers clear out of our region, but not before we see a few snow pellets over those Sierra passes. Here's a look at that right now. Not a lot of precipitation to talk about here. And you know what? It's not looking like it's going to cause any travel concerns because it's melting as soon as it hits the roads at this point. We are tracking those rivers very closely still, despite the fact that the precipitation has let up. It looks like the point that they are right now, the stage that they're at right now, is about where they'll crest. They'll rise a little bit more, and then they'll start going down as we move through Saturday night into Sunday morning for the most part. Had some really great flood mitigation projects over the past few years, and looks like they really paid off now. Here's a look at Futurecast. You can see that those storms are clearing up by about 3 a.m. and then we are all clear for about 2 days, believe it or not. Sunday and Monday looking clear, sunny, and actually pretty warm. But then by about midweek, you see those clouds roll in ahead of our next storm that's arriving right smack in the middle of the week. And this one, not quite as strong as what we've been seeing, but it looks a little bit colder first off, and it also could cause some problems because our rivers are very full right now and our grounds are very saturated. So definitely want to keep that in mind. But the thing you're probably noticing right now, more than anything else, is the winds. And as we move to the next few hours, they stay pretty gusty, but we start to see them calm down in some areas by about 10 or 11 p.m. That's actually when the advisory does expire. But as we move through the night, a few more gusts here and there. By Sunday morning, nice and calm. And as we move into Monday, staying calm as well. But tonight, one thing you want to keep in mind is we've seen quite a bit of wet weather out there. And tonight, thanks to a cold front that dropped those snow levels all the way down to those Sierra passes, our temperatures are below freezing in a lot of areas. 29 degrees in Austin, 32 in Elko, 30 degrees in Eureka. Very different than what we've been seeing. And that could cause some problems. We could be seeing some slick spots on those roadways. Even though it wasn't snow, we did see rain during the day. If we have any left over as we move into the night, we could see some ice out there. 31 degrees in Lovelock, 24 degrees in Bridgeport, and as we push into Carson City, 33 degrees tonight, so not quite seeing that risk for those slick spots, but as we move around the lake, we could see those issues as well. 22 degrees in Truckee, a very cold night around Truckee for sure, much colder than it was last night. This night is going to feel much different than last night. Last night, we were in about the 40s in a lot of areas. Sunny skies for your Sunday, though, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we move into the northern areas, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. But hey, use this time to prepare for the next storm on the way because, again, not as strong, but we'll see some more impacts with it because of what we've already been seeing. 64 degrees for your high in Reno, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour through your Sunday. And your 7-day forecast, here's a look at that as we move through the next few days. We're continuing to see those temperatures climb, but look at Thursday, dropping into those 40s as we see that precipitation as well, which means we could be seeing some issues in those upper elevations. Believe it or not, even a little bit of snow possible. But those temperatures rebound very quickly back to the 60s by Friday. A very clear weekend. And again, this storm midweek, not as strong as the one that just passed. So we're not quite as concerned about some of those impacts, but we will see those clouds build in after 2 nice sunny days, Sunday and Monday. Clouds building in by Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday, that storm arriving. Make sure you're ready for that, as well as some colder temperatures on the way.
Thanks, Jacqueline. The Reno Aces didn't let a little rain get them down yesterday. In fact, it didn't hurt them at all. The team posted another resounding 8-4 win over Fresno, looking to go 3 for 3 against the Grizzlies to start the season today. This game right now in progress, but since it's on our airwaves, My21 TV, we can show you a few highlights. Stop the first. Fresno going to get on the board first. Tyler White grounded out, but Tony Kemp comes all the way from second to score. Here's a replay of that so you can see him come in, and he gets that run in even as the Aces get the out at first. Then in the bottom of the second, bases loaded for Reno. Christopher Negron with a nice hit, but the Grizzlies able to corral it at the warning track. As of a few minutes ago, the Aces trailed 4-0 in the third. We'll have highlights of this game tonight at 11. You, of course, can also watch it on My21 right now. Another game is still in progress. The Dodgers at the Giants this evening. This game is tied at 4 in the 7th. Angels and Athletics start tonight at 6:07. Meanwhile, the weather has wreaked havoc on Nevada Athletics teams. Yesterday, Nevada baseball's game against San Jose was postponed due to weather, so today is game 1 of the series, and then they'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. Nevada down 5-4 in the third as of last check. Also, Nevada softball's game today ended up being postponed after the field was deemed not safe due to all of the rain. After a round of cuts, the Masters continued on today. Some familiar faces were on top of the leaderboard. We'll start with Roy McIlroy on the 6th hole from the tee box. I think this is as close as you can get to hitting a hole in one. He'd get a birdie on this hole, and I would say he's pretty okay with that. On the 7th, where's Henrik Stenson? Oh yeah, he's in the bunker, but this works out well. That's for birdie. He currently sits in 5th after the 3rd round. On to the 8th hole, John Rahm for eagle, and you guys know what's coming. He's a spot above Stenson at 4th, heading into day 4. Back to Rory. Still on hole 8, 3rd shot on the par 5. Holy chip shot Saturday. This is incredible. Rory goes to under 9, but the star of the day was Patrick Reed. On the 9th hole, long putt for birdie, up the hill and in no problem. 11 under par at this point. Then on the 15th, of course, we've got to show one more remarkable chip shot. Reed eagles the par 5 hole. This is his 2nd eagle in 3 holes. Let's go to the leaderboard. The score on the left is what they did today. The score on the right is their overall score. Patrick Reed is a remarkable 14 under par to lead right now, but Rory McIlroy is just 3 strokes behind him. Ricky Fowler, John Rahm, and Henrik Stenson round out the top 5. That's it for sports. Over to you, Ben.
All right, thanks, Brenna. Coming up, the newest member of the Miami Zoo made his big debut today. We'll have that right ahead. Stay with us.
Ahead for us, the latest on the developing story overseas where police say a man used a van as a weapon driving into a crowd. What they're revealing about that driver. Plus, a daunting task for a group of teenagers. We're talking to the students putting together the yearbook at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. And the U.S. Virgin Islands bouncing back from that devastating hurricane season, thanks in large part to some helping hands they received on the road to recovery. All ahead on Nightly News.
All right, the newest member of the Miami Zoo getting a chance to stretch his legs today, and he was certainly welcomed with lots of love. Look how cute. The giraffe exhibit debuted a newborn male with the rest of his herd. The calf was born back on March 28th and spent his first days with his mom, Sabra, outside the exhibit. As of now, the newborn still without a name. Zookeepers say the calf is the 52nd giraffe to be born in the zoo's history. I think we got to come up with a name, you guys.
That's pretty exciting.
What do you guys think?
You know what? I think we should name it Ben because it's also worth noting this is your debut on the anchor desk. Welcome.
There you go.
Welcome tonight. So you are similar to that baby giraffe in some ways.
Thank you. We'll take
You're
it.
welcome.
We'll take it.
And that giraffe's named Ben now.
You're hitting your anchor career in stride like that.
Just like the baby
Just
giraffe.
like the giraffe.
All right, Ben.
Yes, exactly.
That
and
works.
It's been great to have you here tonight, Ben.
Awesome.
Really a lot of fun.
Well, we have you here tonight with weather.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to be sunny tomorrow and
It
not
sure
windy.
is. Sunny on Sunday and on Monday, getting back into those mid-70s, pretty exciting. But as we move into the middle part of next week, those clouds start to build and then some wet weather returns before the end of the weekend. Now, that storm's not as strong, but it is a little bit colder, and also we could see some impacts because we've seen so much flooding. Another thing, those winds will be dying down around 11 tonight.
All right. Thank you, Jacqueline. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you at 11.